Hello, my name is Caleb, and this is Shane, and we'd like to thank you for giving us your time to interview you. What is your name?
Harold King,
Are you named after anyone?
Moser.
How old are you?
78 years and 8 months.
When and where were you born?
Gamewell, North Carolina, 1934.
Were your parents born here also?
Right.
Pretty much the same place where you were born?
No, I was born down on 18.
Were you born in a hospital?
Yeah.
What hospital?
Probably Blackwell or Carwell. I can't answer that right offhand. I don't know.
Did you grow up around here?
Yes. Sure did.
Have you lived anywhere else besides Gamewell or Lenoir?
Nope.
What has kept you here in the Caldwell County?
Well, it's as good a place as you'll find to live. And my wife, she's from here, and she is raised here. And so we've been here all our life. We're going to stay here, I reckon.
What was Lenoir like when you were a child?
Oh, there's a lot of difference than it is nowadays. Used to back in my day, when I started going to Lenoir, you could go to town with 50 cents. 50 cents. You had 3 theaters over there. Actually, you had 4, but Strand, I never did go to Strand. But you could go to the State Theater, State Theater, and it cost you a dime to see a movie. A dime for a bag of popcorn, a nickel for a Coca-Cola. It cost you 10 cents to ride the bus over there, and 10 cents back. Now 50 cents, you can't do nothing with 50 cents now. That's the way it was back when I started out.
What are some major changes that you've seen to Lenoir since your childhood?
Well, back then, the Lenoir was full of people. It was full of people. So you had everybody done their shopping up there, the groceries and everything. You'd go to Smithy's, they sold clothes. They had a cafe in there. They sold groceries. And what they didn't have, all you had to do is step right out the side door into Al Underdown's Hardware. And he had anything else. He puts them in the mind of Walmart nowadays. The Smithy's department store. And you had 2 hospitals up there, Dooley's and Blackwell's. And you had doctors in houses. It lived in houses that worked at the hospital. Nurses too. Well, all that's moved out. They ain't nothing up there. And you had clothing stores up there. Belts and Collins and Guarantee Store and just different ones. And 3, 5, and 10 cent stores you go in. And about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eating places up there. And you had barber shop just about on every corner. And now they ain't nothing up there except the Western Auto and Eckerd Drug. About the only thing they are, except lawyers and insurance places, stuff like that. It's been a big change, buddy, in my lifetime.
What's the one thing that you missed the most, like in Lenoir? Like, what's the one thing that you liked the most that was in Lenoir?
Well, I'd have to say Kroll's. I done a lot of trading with Kroll's. Bought the washing machines and the cabinet and dishwasher stuff like that. And he was a good fellow to trade with. And he's all gone now. They ain't there. And you could go see a movie, Booktown Park, see a movie. There's a lot of things you missed, really missed.
Is there anything that you've helped construct in the town of Lenoir?
Where you pay your taxes now, I worked on that building, and BB&T Bank across from Bank of Granite.
Yeah.
We built that.
How do you feel about the way of Lenoir is today?
Ain't nothing up there. Ain't much you can feel about it. They got a good hospital, I'll have to say that. And banks, they got some good banks there. But I don't know nothing about the courthouse because I've never been in court and I don't know nothing about it. But I guess it's all right.
Is there like anything particular that you like the most? Is there anything particular that you like the most?
Well, no, not right offhand. If you want to call Walmart Lenoir, Yeah, you'd have to say a person would have to enjoy going to Walmart or Magic Mark or something like that. We got a Belk too up there on 341. Places like got a lot of eating places out of town now, and enjoy going there.
Besides Lenoir, like Caldwell County, what are some of your favorite places to be?
Hard question, though. Well, I'd have to say Hickory, probably Hickory or Boone, something like that.
Is there any particular reason that you like to be there?
Any particular reason I like it here?
Yeah.
Well,
No, there. Like where you want to be. Like where you like to be besides Caldwell County.
no, I don't reckon on that now.
Well, what kind of jobs have you had?
Mechanic, building houses, construction work, and the prison department,
What were you like? What was your job in the prison department?
maintenance.
So you didn't do anything major like stuff at the prison.
Like
You
what?
you didn't do anything major at the prison like big stuff.
Kept me going. That's all it was.
What were your experience at the Hudson prison, and how do you feel about them?
Well, when I first started, it was getting used to the personnel. And then you had to work inmates, and you had to pick them. You didn't get, they just didn't put any kind off on you. They had to go through a test, and you pick them so they'd be trusted when you went out with them and worked. And that was hard for me to get used to, but eventually it come to me and everything worked out fine.
What was the most challenging experience at the prison?
Well, I don't know right offhand. Most challenged would be, well, we have to do a lot of plumbing. I learned a lot by doing a lot of plumbing. A lot of it was underground, burying pipes and stuff like that, pulling electrical wires and stuff like that I've never done before. And that was experience to me.
What got you interested in working at the prison?
What got me interested?
Like wanting to work there?
Well, yeah, I didn't. I was called and asked to take a job with the prison department. And I took it. And I stayed with them 25 and a half years. And I had a good supervisor, a good boss man, and everything worked out fine.
Going back to places you've been, have you been anywhere like out of state, like for the prison, like working for the prison?
Out of state?
Yeah.
No, everything was in North Carolina. I've been to Raleigh, CP, that's Central Prison, and a lot of field prisons out. But not outside, huh?
Do you do anything for a living now, like working?
No, since I retired, I ain't done too much. I do a little bit of carpenter work, stuff like that,
Yeah.
but very little.
Okay, going to schools. What schools did you go to during your childhood?
Well, they didn't have a Gamewell Elementary, Gamewell High School. That's all I had when I went. One's top, one's the bottom.
Now, I've heard you talking about dropping out of school before. What grade did you drop out of school?
I completed the 9th. Dropped out when I started in the 10th.
What difference do you see at any of the schools?
Oh, Lord, there's a lot of difference from the old schools than they are now. You got so much different stuff you can take up now when you didn't have back then. See,
Yeah.
back when I went to school, there wasn't no such thing as South Caldwell and West Caldwell, High Brighton, and just, like Chesterfield and here and Happy Valley and Hudson, Sawmills, different places like that, Oak Hill. Gamewell used to have some some good ball players and good football players and basketball players, stuff like that.
How have historical events affected your family and community? Like, for example, during the Civil Rights Movement, or World War II, or the Kennedy assassination, or Vietnam War, or the Korean War?
Oh, yeah. I remember World War II. I was young, but I can remember, yeah. A lot of people went to war. In fact, I had an uncle that went in there, and Fred was in there. And my dad never did have to go. But I can remember that. When assassinated, when President Kennedy got shot, I remember that. Martin Luther King was usually leading the march, and then they'd start rioting behind him, burning towns and this and that and other. I remember all that.
What about, like, the Vietnam War?
Well, I can remember the Vietnam War. See, I wasn't in the Vietnam War. I went in 57 and came out in 59, and there wasn't any war going on at that time. And I never got to go no further than Texas, Louisiana. I pulled my time down there.
Do you remember the Reagan shooting?
Oh, yeah. That's just something happened. You don't never know. I remember when they shot at Truman at the courthouse. At the White House in Washington. We was up there in 54, I think. I think it was the year of 54. He got shot at before then. But the mark where the bullets had hit the seats, we saw them.
What do you value most about what you've done in your life?
I don't know, son. On that, we just worked. Had something to do, and I'm thankful for that. At least I had a job. Go at it, work at it, get it done.
Did you have any role models when you were younger?
Oh, yeah, my dad and uncle.
To do?
They taught me carpenter work. I had an uncle followed it, and I had my dad followed it. And then I took it up, and then my younger brother took it up. And you look up to them, yeah, you learn a lot.
Is there anything in your life that you regret doing?
No.
So you like everything that you've done?
I've liked everything I've done, yeah.
I've heard you told stories about, like, you drive to Texas for like $20, like.
Oh, yeah. Back when I was in service, and I could leave Texas and $20, $25, I could come home on gasoline. And I drove a car. Took a car with me down there to Louisiana, and then left there and come home. And then went back to Texas and come back home. And then went back to Texas and stayed till I got out and come back home. And you could come home. It wasn't but about 19 cents a gallon. For that's $3.45 or 49 cents a gallon. Yeah.
Do you know of any stories like that your family has, or like your dad? Do you know any stories that your dad did? Has he built anything in the North?
Well, now, I'm positive my dad did. Charlie did too, my uncle. He worked for Taylor Construction Company, and he worked for Clay Construction Company. My dad worked for Clay Construction Company. Well, see, all of that mostly was done when I was real small, and I can't. I can remember working for them, but I can't remember what they done. But it's all under construction.
Well, is there anything other interesting or useful information that you'd like to tell us that we haven't talked about?
I like to work on cars, stuff like that, especially antiques. I like to go to car shows and stuff like that, but I don't know. Talking to work.
What was your favorite car besides the truck? Because I know you really cherish that. Like, do you have any other favorite cars that you've ever had?
Yeah, I've had two that I really like. Both of them was Mercury's. Yeah, Mercury's. And my truck up there, I've had it 40-something years, which you'll end up with it, but don't have it. And, any kind of vehicle that gives you good service should be satisfied with it.
What date did you and your wife get married?
We got married in July the 3rd, 1963.
So next year will be 50 years?
This coming July the 3rd will be 50 years, yeah. But we went together for about 4 years. We've been together about 54 years. We'll be this coming July.
How did you meet her?
I knew her all my life. I didn't meet her. She was raised right here, and me too. And Rayvon and myself run around together.
Rayvon's her brother, right?
Right. And so I probably dated her when she was 15. And then when I came out of service, I said, well, if she's still single, I'm going to marry her. And I did. And if I had to do over, I'd do it again.
So you don't regret it?
No. Don't regret it. You've been a good wife.
How old were you when my dad was born?
I was 42. Mom was 38.
Do you regret that?
No. Well, Mom lost 2.
Yeah.
And then she was so old after she had Todd, she didn't have any more.
Was it like right before or?
Yeah,
right before?
yeah, I had 2. Yeah.
Have you ever like built a car like just?
No, not from scratch now. I always had something to build on. I've never built one from scratch. Built a lot of houses from scratch now. Starting at the ground and going up on them, yeah.
Have you built any like houses for your friends?
Yeah. Lola McCall, Kenneth Tyler, Will McCall. A lot of people around. Yeah.
So you built a lot of stuff in Caldwell County?
Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else like about Lenoir?
Well, let's go back to the late 40s. Go back to the late 40s. You could go to town, and if you was driving, you couldn't find a place to park on Saturday night. Everybody was out to see the late movie, late show. Well, television didn't come out. Well, we didn't have one till about 1949 or 50, somewhere along in there. And they wasn't that. You had 3 theaters up there you could go to, and you had 3 drive-in theaters. You had one up on Blood Rock Road. You had one at Drums Drive-In down at Hudson, and you had Lenoir Drive-In, and you had one at Granite if you want to go all the way down there, Skyline Drive-In. And you could go to a drive-in or go up here and go to a movie on Saturday night. And everybody went. And Don McLean run buses. He'd run one out to Harlan. He run one down 268 and one down Kings Creek. The best I can remember, them old flat-top school buses. And it was packed. It cost about $10 to ride it. It was packed. Especially when the late show was over. Everybody piled in the bus and they had to home. And it's just, Lenoir has really changed. I ain't kidding. It's really changed over the years. In my time, and what? Back when my daddy, now they had a lot of horses and stuff up there when Dad was growing up and stuff like that. But it's really changed over the years. I've said 2 or 3 times I need to go out west where them old western towns is, where them roads of hay runs down the street and get something but Lenoir, because there ain't nothing up there. It's just, they ain't nothing up there. I mean, nothing to interest a young person, let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. Years ago, there was pool rooms up there. Well, I never did shoot pool. I never did take it up. But they was full. You was lucky to get in there and shoot pool with them. And they ain't nothing up there now for a young person to do. Well, they had a bowling alley over there, but now that came along way after that. It was up in the 60s. That on the bypass, where that rental all place is. Right there. Wasn't no such thing as, didn't have no Burger King, didn't have no Hardy, didn't have no McDonald's, didn't have nothing. You had the Red Pig. You know where it's at. You had one down at Georgetown they called the Dome. A big round thing down there, okay. You had them two. You had the Poplar Grill, which was out there going like you're going toward Hickory. Where they putting that shrubbery up now. Set on the right, but it was rough. A lot of people didn't stop there. And then you had Sunset Grill, was up on the hill there, where Aldi's is, or right back this side. And then you had that on the Blowing Rock Road up there at Warrior. And you had, well, best I can remember, Carolina Restaurant, Smithy's, Ice Cream Parlor, a Gateway Cafe uptown. I can remember them folks. And it's really changed over the years. Had taxi service up there. Well, it's the Lenore, Yaller, three or four taxi cabs up there. Now they don't have any. Some guy I seen in the paper where he applied to gonna start one or something. But they just ain't nothing in Lenore for a young kid anymore to enjoy. Might be why there's so much drugs out there floating around.
So,
But it's really changing, boy, I tell you that.
so you plan on staying here?
Yeah, the Lord's been good to me. He's blessed me. I'm gonna stay right here.
Well, thank you again for giving
Yeah.
me and Shane your time, and we had fun.